All right, final section. Dun, dun, dun. Oh, yeah, last lecture topic. Isn't that fucking, is that not like I'm whispering sweet nothings into your ear? Does this not bring you joy? Hopefully, maybe not sweet nothings in your ear. I don't want anybody. Don't take that the wrong way. We're doing 13.1. It's on something called ANOVA with all capital letters, which stands for analysis of variance, where I've capitalized the letters that it goes with. This is technically called ANOVA one way. There's other options, but we're only doing one. Chapter 12, we did multiple proportions, 3 or more groups with proportions. This is a means test for 3+ samples. As a reminder, variance. Since it's in the name, what is variance? Variance is standard deviation squared. So like for a sample, it would be S squared. For population, it's sigma squared. This is a test of equality. Mean for 3 or more populations. Let's say we have K population. It helps kind of write H on AJ. And I think this goes without saying, but I'm gonna add it anyways, they're different populations. You're not just using the same group over and over. If we have that set up, H naught is mu1 equals mu2 equals mu3 up to mu k. All the means are approximately equal. HA is at least one mean is different. And we'll be doing stat crunch. We're gonna do stats. ANOVA. One way. So requirements. Requirements to use the test. As I said, we have k different populations. And one sample group for each. The populations need to be independent. Or no overlap. Nothing that can be counted in two different groups. And we want the populations to be normally distributed. We're gonna add more to that line because we don't always know this, but I wanna pause and give you time to write this. We're actually gonna have a D also, but. Save that one for last. So on this one, if the distribution is unknown. We've done this for other means tests. And we're gonna do it here. You check the QQ plot. For linearity. This is R less, absolute value of R less than the critical value, that kind of testing. And then we also want to make sure the box plot had no outliers. Final category. Populations have. Approximately the same variance. And the way we're gonna check for this one. We're gonna check to see is. The smallest standard deviation. or no, sorry, largest. Is the largest standard deviation less than 2 times the smallest standard deviation? One way to do that is doing stats, summary stats. And then doing standard deviation. We did this back in chapter 2 or 3. I think the hypothesis test might though show it also though. And then we just gotta compare it manually. It won't do the check for you, but it'll give us the standard deviation that we can compare. While I load up a problem. Everybody good? Alright. So both of these, I have it's from our lecture notes that are in Canvas. But if you wanna load up the stuff on StatCrunch while you're doing it in StatCrunch. I have the data set saved as. Jones. FA. Chapter 13.1. There is no period after chapter. CH 13.1 and then ANOVA. That's the name in StatCrunch. First problem I'm gonna do is on mean rate of return in stock sectors. I'll put that up on the screen where you can actually read the problem. I'd like to write down the problem in your notes. Always a good idea. goddamn thing. Got all paranoid. Stock analysts wonder whether the mean rate of return on financial energy and utility stocks differed over the past 5 years. He obtained a simple random sample of 8 companies from each of the 3 sectors and obtained the 5-year rates of return shown in the table below. They're all as percents. Are the mean rates of return different at the 0.05 level of significance? All right. You have all the numbers written down? Well, this is ready, but I don't know. Okay. Do it while you wait a little bit more. It's okay. When's your review? Still writing it down. It's fine. No, finish. We got 2 hours to do fucking 2 problems. Okay. Okay. So. Remember, this is what we're gonna do is. And we're gonna write in a little bit on our paperwork. Our H naught is mu1 equals mu2 equals mu3. This is more specifically a reminder because someone just fucking showed up randomly 20 minutes late and missed this part. And HA is at least one is different. Alright, so. Clear that, we're gonna go over to StatCrunch. Where it is already loaded. I have the financial, energy, and utility stocks loaded up. We've also got another problem that we're gonna do right there. We're gonna go stats, ANOVA, one way. We're gonna pick the three columns that we wanted. And I'm gonna see if this just shows me what I need to check for anyways. Let's throw the dot plot and the QQ plot, can I do more than one? Let's do the dot plot for now. No, not dot plot. QQ plot. It does show us our standard deviations. That's good. So. Smallest. Deviation. Needs to be less than. I need to do this in two boxes. Three box, nope. I fucking did it, extended it again. This is largest deviation. Largest deviation is less than 2 times the smallest deviation. So it looks like here. Our smallest one is 4.53 and our largest one is 5.12. So is 5.12 less than 2 times 4.53? Two times 4.53 is 9.06. Yes, 5.12 is less than 9.06. We're good to go on the standard deviations. Also going to check the graph while we're here. Looks fairly linear, right? Yes. We're going to assume that that's pretty close to a line without checking the critical value in R. I'm going to avoid doing all that. All right, back over to StatCrunch or back over to our camera over here. Let's go through the 5 steps. H naught is, I'm gonna mention them in specific. We had new financial. And what else do we have here? That's an F. There was utilities and what else? Energy equals mu energy. And mu utilities. HA is at least one is different. I didn't write down the fucking information I need from over there. Test stat and the p-value. I'll go over and grab it in a second. Well, you saw what I did. I'll just write it down 1 second. It gave us a test stat of 2.077 and a p-value of 0.1502. Did it tell us what alpha was? Did it actually say it? Okay. So alpha is 0.05. There we go. Is the p-value greater than or less than? Someone besides Crystal. I don't know, wait, good question. Is the p-value bigger than alpha? Yes. What does that do for our decision? Again, anybody but Krista. We'll let you do the next one. I know you just like, let's get this shit done.
Don't reject the code.
Say it again.
Do not reject the code.
Do not reject the hoe. Excellent. P-val is not too low, we don't reject the hoe. Do not support alpha, or do not support HA. HA being there is one different. There is insufficient evidence. I say not enough all the time, insufficient means the same thing. There's insufficient evidence that the mean rate of return. I think it actually said 5-year mean rate of return. Gotta look at the problem. Nope, just says mean rate of return. That the mean rate of return. Amongst financial, energy, and utility stocks is different. At alpha equals 0.05 level of significance. You ready for the next part? Ready to take the problem away. Over here and prep this over here. Alright, you guys ready for the next problem? Kelly, good. That's our next problem.
Yeah, we're gonna begin, Professor Jones.
Alright, how about yours? How was Thailand? Was it Thailand this weekend or the previous weekend?
That was last week, what did I do this weekend? Did I do this weekend? I don't remember. I think I
Like
did
one of those
actually.
weekends. I've had those weekends.
Oh, no, I went to my cousin's house yesterday, then did. But that was last week.
You weren't doing any stats homework or anything like that?
Yeah, I did finish my stats homework,
That's what you lead with when you're telling a teacher what you did this weekend.
I did.
This is how you earn brownie points. You say I was doing stats and when I finished my work, I went and hung out with my cousin. That way you sound responsible, whether or not that's actually what happened.
How can I do my
Lie.
stats homework if it's due on Friday, like I do it before the weekend?
There you go. That's a good answer.
Same, going in November. Anybody want to say, you guys want to follow me?
I'm gonna start writing down a little bit on the sheet for this. This is discrimination in car sales. Is there discrimination in car sales?
Just a go. Hey, Krista, I don't want to go crazy. You have the great time, Carla. Yeah, it's Krista at Rookies downtown Visalia. There you go. Krista. Yeah. This one. Chris, you're not even 21 yet. Okay, so.
Oh, you can say,
Well, you can't be, you have to be over 18, so you're either 19 or 20. Those-
in September.
Your birthdays really don't matter in 18 or 21. Like 18's cool, 19, 20 are just filler years.
I wasn't paying attention.
That's why you should go overseas, so you can go indulge nice beverages. Just saying, you don't gotta scream
You can make nice beverages here.
illegally. She's only 18.
Yeah, they don't need to drink, that's what.
No, I said if you wanted to enjoy a nice beverage and go out, there's other countries that have an 18-year-old drinking age.
Or she can wait till she's 21.
She good?
You know, I probably also have one on the.
If you really wanna, if you wanna talk about drinking, leave California.
Yeah.
Go over to the East Coast where you can get shit like Everclear, like fucking 195 proof. That'll fucking strip the paint off fucking anything.
I need that shit that they make in the toilet. I need that moonshine.
You don't get much stronger than 195 proof. It is 97.5% alcohol.
Yeah.
I would literally, true story, when I was doing a research experience for undergrads in North Carolina.
I said that too and I get fucked up.
I bought a big thing of Everclear and like a case of like 20-ounce bottles of water. I would literally like take a sip out of the water. Put like a Kool-Aid mix in it or like one of the flavored drinks. And then just put a cap full of Everclear into the fucking 20 ounces of water. And I would be fucked up after one bottle. Like that shit was so fucking it's. One shot of like one capful is like effectively like a third of a shot. But a 97.5%, that's like fucking several beers. Several beers or a couple shots.
You're just microdosing alcohol?
You was.
Well, okay, so fair enough, this is not entirely true. I started with that, and as soon as I got to about half the bottle, I would add a little bit more. At that point, I was a little bit buzzed. So my judgment on how much I added was not necessarily, I don't know how much I added. But the point is, there wasn't a lot of alcohol for a fucking. The Everclear bottle didn't go down very much.
Yeah, but it still got you a little.
That's what.
It got like, well, fucking really fucked up. Yeah, so you had a couple.
You ever had moonshine? You ever had moonshine?
This is like moonshine. I
Yeah.
have not had official
I
moonshine.
need that real deal shit.
I've never had bathtub, fucking. Bathtub liquor.
I need that shit makes you go blind.
Everclear will fucking, I can't imagine Everclear not doing that shit. Like it will fucking, I'm pretty sure it will fucking eat away metal, and it's that fucking. It's toxic.
Yeah, I'll just stick that. Take the Edison. I'll stick to Vicodin. Actually, I think I'll stick to Quaaludes.
Carpets. Good.
Oh, big Quaalude. I'm a piece of shit, I'm sorry, guys.
Alright, so. They wanna know if there was racial discrimination, so they had people that like looked the same other than skin color and gender. Same business attire, they were in the same outfits, had approximately the same income. Stuff like that, go in and go like try to buy a car. And then like what's shown below represents like basically what the dealership charged over. The purchase, the regular price, like what they paid for it, the profit they made on it. So the larger the number here, the more that they didn't pay. Like this first person in the first column didn't pay 1,300, they paid 1,300 more than like what the dealership paid. So we've got this over in StatCrunch. We have 4 columns here, we're gonna do stats, ANOVA, one way. We're gonna grab those 4 columns. I'll throw the QQ plot up, just take a peek at it. Here's our F stat and here's our p-value. We also want to check the lowest standard deviation, which looks like 157. And the highest is 241. So I'll write this all on paper. Test stat is 61.4. P-value is less than 0.001. I've got the low standard deviation. The largest standard deviation is 241.5. The smallest standard deviation is 157.1. And we'll take a look at that line. That line looks pretty good. If they ask you about something about this, these 2 things right here. I gonna write down what SS and MS mean on the paperwork when we switch over, okay? Let me go back over. We'll hit that real quick. SS means sum of squares. If they ask you about it, it's in that column. And MS is mean of squares.
Questions, I got a question,
Yeah,
it's totally off topic. Who would win in a fight, 100 men or one gorilla?
what kind of fight? We're just talking like a
Listen to
boxing
the
match?
death. I'm talking one pissed off silverback gorilla versus 100 grown adult men.
Are we talking about the unarmed men?
Yeah,
That,
I don't know, straight fist,
I kind of think the gorilla's gonna win.
alright.
I don't know that you can do enough punching damage. To fucking get through their fucking sides.
There's some specimens on this earth that are, you know,
We're talking about 100 average men, we're not talking about fucking. Jackie Chan and Bruce Lee and shit like that, I mean,
the same.
wanna open up a fresh can of fucking whoop ass and still. I think the gorilla might have a hard time catching quick men, if they were really quick, but the average man is. Average strength, average speed. I don't know how quick a silverback is, but. I don't know,
I think. us
why
three-
the fuck is
us-
this a fucking question that
Us
pops in
four
your
right
head?
here, we can handle a silverback gorilla.
You just think the three of you can handle it?
No, us four, cause there's inclusion. Us four.
You think the four of you can handle a
Yes.
fucking silver?
Me too. And when.
That's just us though, but alright, I'll give it Chris Jones.
You ain't doing shit, you ain't fucking, the gorilla's gonna fucking eat your cookies.
I hope it does eat I wanna eat his cookies too. I'm on that.
I need to go home, bro.
Alright, so, is the largest. Less than 2 times the smallest? Is 241.5 less than 2 times 157.1? That is 314.2. That a true statement?
Yeah.
So we met the criteria. We'll go over the H naught and HA. H naught would be mu of, we had 4 groups, we had white male. It should equal the same as white female, equal the same as black male, equal the same as black female. HA is at least one is different. Did it give us an alpha? It did, okay. Is the p-value less than or greater than alpha? Greater? Less than. Is it less than?
Yes.
Are you fucking sure? I heard 2.
Fucking sure,
Okay, good.
I'm so fucking sure.
Alright, so what does that mean? What does that, how does that affect our decision? If the p-value is lower than alpha. Reject the hoe. And support HA. It's really easy to forget that last part, but this is what our statement is about. Our statement is about that. And rather than listing all the groups, we can just say, the question was there gender or racial discrimination in car sales? There is sufficient evidence to support the claim that there. When was this survey done? Back in 1991, I'm gonna add that. That there was gender and or gender racial discrimination in car sales. In 1991, at alpha equals 0.05 level of significance. I'm specifically adding 1991 because that was 35 years ago. I haven't seen a recent one on this, so maybe there's less. One of these groups got fucking railroaded. Which group was it? Oh, we'll bring back the list up in a second. It's actually worth, we're taking a look at and fucking figuring out who got screwed, who do you think got screwed? Any questions? That's all I've got on that. Let me pop it over real quick so you can. Look at the values. It's like, it's always worth taking a look at it. It's coming with an idea of what's going on. Like, I wanna say it looks like white females have it the best, cause they didn't have anybody above 1,000, but I don't know what their means were. Theirs were mostly 700 to 900. There were men that were as low as 400, 500. White males, everybody that was black paid over 1,000, but the females, there was some that were in the 2,000. Unfortunately, they only chose those two nationalities or skin colors, basically, not nationalities, they're all Americans presumably. But that's all we got. If you wanna work on your project, again, Thursday we'll be working on your projects, presenting next Tuesday. Dun dun dun, it's coming up. That was our last lecture. Okay,
Thursday's our last lecture?
this is our last lecture. We got classes up to.
I say, when's our final?
This covered every topic.
When's our final?
It's on the topic syllabus. Let's go look.
Can I just be informed on May 13th? May 13th. Yeah.
May 13th.
Yeah.
Coming up.
Board requirements for this. Yes, we understand.